Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rosinski. Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. Hopefully you got to see a lot of the racing. Hopefully you didn't get completely screwed with everything they did with the start time in Dover, because I still don't like it, and the excuses that they make for it I don't like. But still was a better race than a lot of people are giving it credit for, in my opinion. But there's a lot of other stuff. So let's jump into it, shall we? ARCA Series, I want to say I feel still get shafted. It's just weird watching the race from the weekend prior at 1 o'clock on a Friday and then showing the race that was actually that Friday. It's not going to be aired until this coming Friday at 1 o'clock on USA, which doesn't really do the ARCA Series any favors, in my opinion. 1 o'clock on a Friday, most people are at work, so they don't get a lot of time to actually see any of it, which I think is, completely ridiculous. If you want to actually give them a fair shot and get more fans and all that invested in it and sponsors, you actually have to put them on at a point where those sponsors and drivers and teams and all that can actually be seen. And I just don't think that 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's helping anybody, which is just weird. Like altogether, I think that's dumb. I did find, get to see some flat track racing finally. So Walter's not the only one that gets to talk about it now. I did actually catch it when you go through, if you have Hulu Live TV, you go through auto racing, they have to keep scrolling all the way to motorsports, and there's more stuff in there, and you can set your DVR and catch a lot of it. So that was really, really, really cool. And again, like I said, weather and the networks picking the start times and stuff, because of viewership, I don't see the point, and I don't think it helped anything, but I will get into my feelings on how stupid it all is later. And I really can't think of any reason why anyone could defend it, because I think it's the dumbest thing known to mankind with how they did it. But their view, and their reasoning is dumb. But again, we'll get into that later. Start out with the I-70 half-mile flat track from Odessa, Missouri. The Mission Super Twins, Jared Meese won. Briar Bauman was second. Brandon Robinson finished third. Mission Production Twins, first was Jesse Janish. Second, Nick Armstrong. Third, Corey Texter. Parts Unlimited, AFT Singles, first, Cody Cobb. Second, Max Whale. Third, Morgan Mishler. And then the Royal Enfield Build Train Race. First, JC Jones. Second, Zariah, I'm sure I screwed up, Martins. Third, Jillian Deschennes. Don't ask me. I don't know. I will say that the racing was actually, just to see them doing it and how, they could hit one bump and how jittery they got running that sideways, it was actually really, really cool. Again, it's just really hard to catch it on TV, which, it's no doing of their own. It's not like it's the biggest thing in the world. I think more people got to see it. More people would obviously enjoy it. But again, it's getting the people to actually be able to see it, which, makes it difficult. And if there's other sports that have, more viewership and, players involved and everything, they're going to air that, obviously, make it easier to see that and know about that. But still cool racing. I've always seen the track with other guys running on it. I like it. I thought it was really cool. Hopefully I get to catch some more of them. But yeah, it was definitely different in a good way. And that stuff, those guys on that track, you could tell when they hit a little bump, and good on them for being able to hold it. It takes a lot of talent to be able to do it. So hopefully more people can catch it, because I was entertained. And I know if I was entertained, a lot of other people will probably be entertained by it. But good racing across the board in there. Gets me to the FIA Formula E from Monaco. Again, another one. I just happened to get lucky enough to see it in there, set the DVR, and it was definitely weird, the Formula E. Mitch Evans started on pole, the Jaguar TCS Racing, and I was curious forever where Van Dorn went from Formula One. Found him. He's down in Formula E running those cars. And again, very, very different. I did like that when they had the long caution there, they added the 4.5 minutes to the end of the race for them to still be able to do it, which was really, something different in my eyes. And, as fans and drivers, teams, sponsors, because they're all involved in all of that. TV for letting them on, like letting them actually finish the race out in time they lost under caution was really, really, really cool to me. And how many times we've seen like them just run out cautions in other racing series to get to the end of the stage or the win or anything. So, it was really cool just to see them do that. You got past the sound of the, the just a high pitched screeching of the electric motor whining. I thought there was some, good racing out there. Again, those guys were really getting it. Who doesn't like watching racing at Monaco? It's very historical. They've raced there for a very long time. And again, good drivers down there. Just that was weird. And the fact that the car ran out of power throughout the race. Some people actually ran out coming to the line to finish the race. That was the strangest thing ever. Van Dorn won the race with less than 1% of his energy left. Evans was second. Verne was third, all pretty much without any power. And there were people that ran out of power coming to the line. So it's really weird, seeing them have, but it brings another element to it. People trying to do fuel mileage and stuff. Trying to make sure you have power to get to the end and driving properly so you don't run out of power brings a whole nother level of strategy and driving and everything into it, which I really did like, again, minus the sound of those things, but it was really, really just weird, to see it. And what, he's got 1% power left. I think he won with like 0.7% power left. I mean, it's pretty much all but dead, which is just, again, really, really weird. But if you don't manage it, you don't make it to the end, which again throws a whole different cool, aspect in there. So that's what I was for. But again, good racing. It's just really, really, weird to me seeing cars running out of power all the way, through the end, and no matter what, running out sooner or later by the end if they do and do it everything properly. But good race, good racing. It was good to see Van Dorn. Haven't seen him in a long time. Again, they're a little bit where I couldn't watch anything, so I didn't notice when he left F1. I'm like, where'd he go? And I didn't get to watch a lot until here recently. Now, they got Hulu up and running and all that good, and unlimited DVR, which means I can actually record everything and not have to worry about it getting, deleted before I could see it. It was really cool. Like, I think everyone should watch it again just because of how different that makes everything. Like, it was really, really different. NTT IndyCar Series. You had the GP, Honda Grand Prix of Alabama from Barber Motorsports Park. I'd say it wasn't the most exciting race of the season, but it was still really, really good. Pato O'Ward, good for him, got the win. Pelot second. VK, who was up front a lot at the beginning, again, lost lead during pit stops, finished third, and it was a good race. Jimmy finished 24th out of 26, needs to do way better than that. That was a giant step back, in my opinion, regardless of his, broken finger that they put back together. So that was kind of a bummer, but still a good race. I just didn't think it was the most exciting race that they've had all season. Things can only look up. But again, these are all my opinions. But there's some action, not a lot of anything really. So sometimes races fall that way. You really can't hold it against them. But they'll get it back together. Just wasn't my favorite. SuperCross in Denver at Empower Field at Mile High for the 250 West and 450s. There's some good racing and smart racing, which is the key to it. Race smarter, not harder. They did a good job with that. A lot of these guys. Now, the first 250 heat race, Craig got out front. Christian Craig got out front at the beginning and won it by a mile. Heat race number 2 for the 250s. Hunter Lawrence out front early and wins by over 7 seconds. Again, those guys are 1-2 in the points. So they did exactly what we thought they would do with that. And there was still good racing everywhere else, but the guys that won by a lot. 450 heat won. Tomac got the whole shot and wins easily. By the way, to see him from being so close to Denver, like that crowd was roaring as he went around and was leading. Like those were good, big crowds. So that was, really good to hear because you don't get to see a lot of that, in SuperCross. So that was super cool for me. I at least enjoyed it. 450 Heat 2, Sexton barely held on to win against, Jason Anderson. Jason Anderson was right there. Like he got close, but he couldn't get it done. And Malcolm Stewart outraced Justin Barsha for third, with Barsha finishing fourth. And again, there was good racing all across that one, much better than the first 3 heat races across the 250s, and then the first 450. Again, heat races sometimes are good, sometimes they're not. But there was lots of good racing in the second 450 heat. The 250 LCQ, Mumford won easily. 450 LCQ, Rob Bell wins. 250 Maine, Hunter Lawrence won. Mosman was second, and Christian Craig finished third, which means Christian Craig didn't lock up the title. I mean, it's going to take a lot for him to not win the championship when it comes down to it, but he gets to hold on to the lead, and Hunter got a little closer. So we'll see how it all plays out in the end for him. But I'm excited to see it come down to that. Now we have 2 out of the 3 across SuperCross for who's going to win. I'm excited to see what happens in the last race in the 450 Main. Sexton took himself out while leading, and Tomac got around, which is a shame. And he went down, didn't look the prettiest, but these things, we've seen a lot of people do that. Anderson got around Eli Tomac really, really quick after that. And then, in the races, when he wasn't in the lead anymore, I give Tomac all the credit in the world. Why, race people, crazy hard if they're trying to get by you when, you just have to drive smart and, you get the championship, which he did. I thought he did the right thing. Would everyone like to see him go harder? Probably, but he did what he had to do and he got the championship. Anderson won, Malcolm Stewart second, Moose Cannon third, Eli finished fifth. He stopped and shook his hand after the top 3 finished on the hill. He went by and shook Anderson's hand afterwards on his way to celebrating the championship. And just think, though, really think if all those 2 races there, when Jason Anderson got into Malcolm Stewart and they had all their problems, and Anderson didn't finish the greatest, just think where the championship could be and how much closer it would have been if he didn't have those 2 weekends, I believe Daytona and Arlington. I could be, off by a race there, but memory serves me right. It was those 2 races. And without that, and he didn't finish good in one of those. It could have been a completely different story points wise, but Tomac got it. He did what he had to do. I don't blame him. I respect him. Just drive smart and get yourself the championship. And he got it. So really good to see again. It's one of those could have been, a better race till the end, but at least it came down to, the second to last race. So it kept it going. Anderson still running off wins and looking great. So he's bounced back good after those bad weeks having run-ins with Stewart all the time. But good on him. Tomac, he got the championship. No one can take that away from him. And he did what he had to do to get the championship. So if you have a problem with it, I'll tell you, but you do the same thing if you were in that boat. Go as smart as you can. And don't let weird things happen. Because you could have went racing really stupid, could have got taken out, injured something, and then bye-bye championship, possibly altogether. So he did what he had to do. Good for him. ARCA Menards West, salute to the oil industry, 150 from Kern County Raceway Park. It was, there was some good racing, throughout here and there, but PJ Pedroncelli Jr. on the pole, his father starting shotgun in last, and Landon Lewis got the win. Again, I like that track. I like when I see, different people run on it. It's just, that was the one that was on TV from the week before, and I can't watch the ARCA race from Friday until this coming Friday, which I just think sucks. But again, later, I will get to it later. I promise you that. The Xfinity Series, A-Game 200. Brandon Jones started on pole. Looked good. There was some, crazy stuff that happened. David Starr and Weatherman had issues. Clemens spun out trying to avoid them for the first caution. Sam Mayer barely beat teammate Justin Allgaier to win stage 1. And then sadly, there was a trend of this across the races in, Dover, but Mayer loses, a tire. Bye-bye. Caruth made a hell out of a save when he had his issues, but he was running good, so it was good. John Hunter, flat tire right before the end of stage 2, Will Redding 6th. The 91 of Massey hits hard with 2 to go. Allgaier wins stage 2 under caution. And Josh Berry gets a lead on a late restart and got the win. First win of the season. Good for him. I like him as a driver. Look what he's out there. I mean, he's not the youngest guy in the world going out there and doing this, and he still goes out there and shows what he can do. So I was quite all right with him getting it. But Barry gets the win. Justin Allgaier was second. Ty Gibbs third. Noah Gragson, finished fourth. Sam Mayer fifth. AJ Allmendinger sixth. Brandon Jones seventh. Sheldon Creed finished eighth, and he needed it because look, last week he was about having another good run and got taken out there at the end. He's had so much bad luck that eighth place, good for him. Again, they need to get off, rattle off as many of those as they can until the playoffs start to get in position, because they're on the outside looking in. But if that's the first good finish there where nothing dumb happened and it leads them into it, the promised land, the playoffs, good for them. Again, a lot of it wasn't even their luck. So we'll see what he does with it. But Riley Herbst ninth, and then Ryan Sieg got 10th. Noah Gragson won the $100,000 dash for cash, and Junior Motorsports had 4 of the top 5, with Ty Gibbs breaking it up in third. And really, if you look at them and you think of Allgaier, he's the best one in the Xfinity Series there that was running. Josh Berry, Sam Mayer, they got that stuff. Noah Gragson, he's good there, and it just fits his driving style. So that's what you expect from Junior Motorsports, and they came through. But then we had 2 Gibbs cars, third and seventh. Sheldon Creed finally got one up there. Riley Herbst, there was a bunch of different teams up there, minus that. But that was a really good day to drive for Junior Motorsports, without a shadow of a doubt at all whatsoever. No one can deny that. And then the Cup Series, Dry Den 400, which saw Chris Buescher finally get his first career Cup Series pole, which I almost couldn't believe when I heard that. After all these years, that was really his first. But it's a good sign for them, for his team in particular. Not so much as teammate, who still hasn't figured it out, Brad. But we all know those. Sooner or later they will figure it out. They have no choice but to figure it out. It's just right now they haven't yet. And a shout out to my DVR for not recording anything until the end of lap 45, coming back from the caution to the green. I have no idea why the hell it even thought that was a good idea, but shout out to my DVR for that. I'll still never understand that. Just like I'll never understand them starting the race on Sunday when they did. Caution came out 52 to go, and stage 1 goes right at 42 to go, and we have to pick it up the next day on Monday. And again, I'll get to my reasons why I think that was dumb here shortly, but we picked it up yesterday. Kyle Larson in the lead. Hamlin won stage 1, and he looked, really good in doing so. And you'd expect that from Denny. But again, they've had a lot of bad luck this year. And good thing they got that win when they did, because really it's not a car problem. They just have dumb luck, like the dumbest of luck. Nothing good has really been working out for them, which, again, they got the win, so they don't have to worry about it. But after he won stage 1, if you watch the race, if you could, because, they started it when they knew it was going to rain 10 seconds later, but loses the tire coming off the pit road. You saw, the tire carrier telling him to go, but the guy that actually, bolts the tire on was, trying to wave him off, telling him to stop because he didn't get that lug on the front left, and then Denny's tire damn near beat him down pit road. So that's going to suck. It's going to be a big, that'll be a big hit for the team, just because they're going to lose their crew chief, tire carrier, and changer for 4 races. But thankfully for him, he is with Gibbs, and they have the people and everything around that. I don't think it'll be that big of a disadvantage, just because, they have pit guys, that do other things that are good enough. And so I think that'll help. But again, running really good, and that happened, which just proves how good of his, his luck has been this year. But he's not the only one. I mean, it kept happening. But Kurt went around for slight contact with AJ Allmendinger. Looked like, racing incident to me. We'll see how they get along. When I talked about Hamlin's bad luck, he was coming back. He made it all the way back to the field. I think he was up to 4th. Made it all the way back to 4th. Cody Ware went, a round off of 4. 2 or 4, I think it was 4. You saw, your Denny's teammate told him to go low, thinking he can get around him. He came back down the track because of the banking, clipped him, put a hole in the side of his car. And again, it's just stuff that you just can't. There's just it's one little thing after another with bad luck for Denny Hamlin this year. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I've gone over why before. Super talented. I know this has nothing to do with Bubba. Yeah, there's just something, respect level and all that about it, I just don't like. There's just something off about it. And he's, so much bad luck. Throughout the years, he's gotten so close so many times. He just can't close it out. And then, he's having a lot of bad luck now, but we've seen it, turn around completely. I mean, look at Tony Stewart the one year. So I don't even deserve to be in there when he made the playoffs and they turned around, won half the races in the playoffs and won the championship. So it could all turn around really, really fast. And with Hamlin, I'm sure it will, but losing those guys because of that wheel and then having that happen, just so much just bad luck that he keeps having. It's really just the damnedest thing to me. Blaney won stage 2 though. Super happy to see them finish the stage under green flags. I think the caution came out like 8 to go, and I figured it was over then. So they got it back for at least, I think it was 2 laps to finish out the stage. So I was really happy to see that. Again, you've listened to me complain and Walter complain enough. Like there's 8 to go. Why they just run it straight through caution? Like they got it. And those are bigger tracks than Dover, but they got everything, settled. Never went back to finish under green. So kudos to NASCAR. I don't say that very often. Good for them. Thank you for doing that. Blaney got his 4th stage win of the season and leads all drivers, which is just really weird when you think about it. Because you never really think about those things, but good on him. AJ lost a tire in stage 3. So that 16 College car will now be losing their crew chief, tire carrier, and changer for 4 weeks. That sucks for them just trying to get going in there. But again, I think they're such a good team that they have the ability to make up for it. And they have the talent there. I mean, look where they started. Now look where they are, coming from, just the Xfinity series, how competitive they are to now in the Cup series. I think they'll be able to be okay. I think it'll hurt them more than it would hurt like it gives, but I don't think it's completely catastrophic for that team. So there's a saving grace there. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of good stuff you saw, in the top 10. Chase Elliott finally got a win. First one of the season for him. I believe they said it was the first time a team's got all 4 of their drivers, into victory lane in the first 11 races of a season. So there's a little bit of history there. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 2nd, and he needed it. He was running good. There's just no way he was catching Chase. But again, look where he is in points now. Like he needs to run like that every weekend, and get strategy or something to get a win, because that looks like the only way he's getting in. Again, just really weird stuff for him all year, but good to see him in 2nd. Chastain 3rd, Christopher Bell 4th. Good for him. In a good way. He needed it. Bowman 5th, Larson 6th, Kyle Busch 7th. And for one, how those pit stops fell, then the caution coming out. And like Kyle had probably the best car, one of the best cars there. We saw him going 3 wide on restarts and passing people, doing stuff that no one else could. So he was good. Chris Buescher finished 8th, way ahead of his teammate, and good for them. It's good to see them, get the pole finish in the top 10. Very exciting. Harvick got 9th, and then Eric Jones got a 10th. And again, he's either run really good or it's just been really bad, whether it be from luck, and wrecks, or just running bad. So it was really good. Excuse me. See Eric Jones actually finish one out in the top 10. Again, there have been a lot of races where he's been, right up there and competitive. And I think it's good strides for the team. You see all the rumor mills already starting about, whoa, people could be seeing how he's running. Try to get him. You never know what's going to happen. All I know is I think him being there has been a giant improvement for the team. And this new car is helping, a bunch of stuff. So good for him on the top 10. But look at that. I mean, 1, 2, 3, top 4, all different teams. 5, 6, we had 7 different teams in the top 10 again. And that's always good for the sport, regardless of strategy or whatnot. They still got themselves up there. And notable finishes: Justin Haley got 11th, so good for Colleague. Bubba finished 16th. His teammate Kurt was ahead of him all day, but he had those problems. Denny 21st is again just bad luck. Harrison Burton was 24th. I believe the best finishing Penske car. Even though he's the Wood brothers, they're still, partners with him. So best finishing Penske car in 24th. That's just weird. Blaney, who won stage 2, finished 26th. Ty Dillon was 27th. The best finishing Penske car, Harrison Burton in 24th. So shout out to him. And that matches where Matty D finished last year. So you won't hear any of the normal butchering that we do on him. But, again, he hasn't looked off, good off, but he hasn't looked good all season. It's been a step back from where they were last year. Again, experience wise, you can see the difference. And I think he'll figure it out. But again, just not a good move. And I don't think he's right to help them try to figure out what's wrong when they have problems like they had across the board there, just because of, experience wise. I think Matty D would have been more useful, but he matched him. So it was the best finishing car of the whole, shop. So good on him. Happy for him, actually. Like, I really am. As much trash as I talk about, I was happy to see him do good. I want him to do good. Don't think that he was the guy that they should have put in there. Yeah, that's just me. We hear what Walter says, but I think we're right on that one. But closing out, flat track was cool to watch. They do ARCA dirty, in my opinion. Like, they could have put that race on live on FS1, FS2, something, when they did it at 5:00 instead of the following Friday at 1 p.m. because let's be realistic. Who the hell is home to watch it? You gotta set your DVR and hope that you remember to do it. You can set the whole series to go if you can, but doing it like that, I think, just sucks, and it hurts any chance they have of major growth. Just because, again, who's home at 1:00 on a Friday? Most people are working, so that doesn't help anything. It was good to see Eli Tomac lock up the 450. We'll get to see the 250s, finish it up in the last race for their championship in Supercross. But it's been a good season. Jet deserved it. Tomac deserved it with how they ran. So we'll see. Craig deserves it. So does Hunter, because after a while he just started rattling off wins. But we will see how it all comes down, because, again, Christian Craig needs catastrophe to not get the championship. So we'll see how that one all works out. The Formula E was different. Again, minus the sound, there's some good racing. Jimmy Johnson did terrible. You got to do better than that, Jimmy. Sorry. Like, that was a step back. Like, all the stuff like you were doing and looking better than before, like, that was just butt ugly of a race. So you have to do better. And on to the NASCAR thing finally. There were more passes for the lead this time. There were people that could pass. There were tire issues, but green track and all the camber and stuff they could do. It's just going to, in the different size wheel, it's just going to grind down, tires, more abusively, I guess, than they used to. So, really, does NASCAR go and set, max that you can put on those things so that you're not having that problem, having the tire, get as much surface contact as it can through the turns. No matter what, it's going to abuse it more, and the green track didn't help. And some teams were almost out of, tires, which wasn't good, but there was passing. It's just a lot of people had issues with it. Like, after they got all done jumbled, you could see there were people that passed. So people complaining about it. I don't get it, but there's stuff that could be improved. I thought the race was better than some of the races we've seen this year. It just sucked that they had it on, Monday. My biggest problem with it is, the networks obviously do it, and they put it on, certain hours to try to get the most viewers out of it as they can. Like, they have to be flexible. You have to. Like, NASCAR needs to put their foot down, tell them they have to be flexible, because if they're doing it to get maximum, viewership, like, they know you can see the radar coming that it's going to rain. Like, they can all change the game just to get it in, so they can at least make it to halfway and everyone can see a race. Because what the hell good does it do if they know it's going to rain? It's raining with 52 to go in the stage, and they have to push it off until Monday, which means, a percentage of the fans had to leave so they could be at work and do all that the next day. And then a percentage of the fans that would have watched it also were at work and couldn't watch it live, which, actually gets you less viewers. Like, you get some for a little bit there, but then how many of them are going to be able to, check it out the next day while they're at work or anything else? Like, I think that's really them doing dirty. I think it's really stupid. So I think NASCAR needs to put their foot down, and the TV networks need to be more flexible when they see the stuff coming. To say, okay, we're moving it up so we can actually get it in and fans can actually watch it. Because getting, 52 laps left, they were barely even, the first stage, they were barely into the thing. And they already had to stop. Like, that was just so dumb. So very, very egregiously dumb, in my opinion. And it looks bad on them, and it doesn't help their viewership or anything, or sponsors. Again, they're on the car for people to see them. And if, say half the audience is gone because they all work on Monday and they can't watch it, what does that do? It doesn't help anybody. And I know you're trying to get the most viewers, but when rain is coming, you can see that pretty much all week out coming. Could it change, over the last couple of days? Yes, but you knew it was coming, and yet there we were. That was really dumb on their part. Really dumb. Again, tell me what you think if you agree or disagree. I think it was stupid. But that, I'm going to jump off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone on Good Pods. Again, if you listen on there, I appreciate it. Share it out. You can follow the Spotify, Apple, and Google podcast. Follow me on there. YouTube and Rumble for the videos, the Facebook page, because I post all kinds of stuff on there, not just the episodes. And you can share everything out on your social media, because that helps more than anything. Free advertising saves me from having to spend money and give YouTube and, Facebook really any money on ads, because they don't do me any favors, but you guys do. So I'll be back on Friday with Walter to go over the whole weekend of racing, because there's a lot of racing coming up this weekend. He'll go over all the USAC stuff that I couldn't get to because I don't have Flow TV. And it'll be a good one. Might even do some live shows because I had to upgrade Zoom. So we'll try to figure that one out as well, if we could do like a night one, if people would be interested. So comment on here or go on the Facebook page, let me know. But I appreciate it. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll be back on Friday. Until then, be good to each other. Peace.